Hello and welcome back to Mr. Maho Music. Today we're going to be looking at something brand new, sharps and flats. So this is what I want you to be able to do today. I want you to be able to label a keyboard with sharps and flats. Then I've got a bit more of a challenging task for you after that. But first, let's recap notes on the stave because we're going to be using these today. So, starting on the bottom line, we've got, do you remember, E. Moving up, G, then B, then D, then F. Do you remember the saying to help you remember that? Every green bus drives fast. There's loads of different sayings. You might know a different one like every good boy deserves football or elephants get big dirty feet. It's up to you which saying you use to remember it, as long as you remember the notes are E, G, B, D and F. So, in between each of those lines are the spaces, and they spell a word. Let's go through it. F, A, C and E. And my saying to remember that is face in the space. And remember, we always start from the bottom and work up. Which means then if we put our notes all together, they run nicely in alphabet order. Up, E, F, G. When we get to G, we go back to A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, let's have a look at the musical alphabet. Because to be able to label the sharps and flats, we're going to have to be able to label the rest of the notes on the keyboard. So you'll notice that there are a set of 2 black notes and a set of 3 black notes. And this continues all the way up and down the piano. Now, to try and work out a note, we're going to start with the note that's between the 2 black notes. And I'm going to draw a little dog's house on there, and then put my little dog in his house. Because that note is D. I find this the easiest way to remember it. The dog lives in his house. So that's D. And now we know D. We can work our way up. So we've got E, then F, then G, and remember when we get to G we go back to A, then B, then C, and we keep working our way up the keyboard. And to work the notes lower down, we just go backwards if we need to. So let's go bigger keyboard. So we start with D, we can see it there between the 2 black notes, we can work our way up. And because we know where all the D's are, it should be much easier as well. And then we can work our way down and fill in all those notes. So it looks very confusing, this. And you're right to possibly feel confused. But if you can work out where the D's are, you can easily work your way up. And your way back down. So let's look at the sharps and flats then. So there's 2 symbols here. A hashtag symbol and something that looks like a B. We'll start with the hashtag, that's the sharp, and the B is the flat. But what do they mean? Well, the sharp means the note is slightly higher. And the flat means the note is slightly lower. What does that mean? Let's have a look on our stave. So if we start with the note A, you can see it there on the far left, you can see that there is a black note slightly higher than it. That is C sharp, and it works all the way up, A sharp. Then we've got C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. And you can see on there that you've got the notes, and if there's a black note just above it on the keyboard, then it's sharp. Now flats mean lower than. Sharps and flats are the black notes, so if a note's a sharp, it's also going to be a flat. So let's start with the B, that's all the way down at the bottom. And we go down slightly, we've got B flat, and you can see it works the same all the way up and down the keyboard. Now here's the tricky thing. If we look right in the middle there at C sharp and D flat, it's the same note. They just have 2 different names, which is a little bit confusing, but don't worry about that for now. We'll explain that at a different time, why we have sharps and we have flats. But all you need to know for today is that you go up to a sharp and you go down to a flat. Let's have a look then at our treble clef. So here's our notes, and this is what it would look like if we had nearly all the sharps written on there. E, F, F sharp G, G sharp A sharp B, C, C sharp D, D sharp, and then to finish it off we would have an E at the top. Now that's a chromatic scale, and you'll notice that when the notes are written on the stave, the sharp sign is before the note, but when we write the note we put the sharp sign afterwards, so it's a little bit tricky that, but it's just something you're going to have to remember. And likewise with the flats, E, F, G flat G, A flat A, B flat B, C, D flat D, E flat, and we'll finish with E again at the end. And again it's a little bit tricky because we've got those flats in there, but they all just run in order. So your challenge today, first task is going to be for you to label the keyboard. Now, it's probably easiest to label the white notes first because you can write all of the D's in and then you can fill in the other notes and then work out the sharps and then the flats. Once you've done that, you're going to be asked what these notes are. So you have to work out one note at a time. So the first note here, it's in a space, F, A, C, E. It's the second space up, F to A, so it has to be A. Now the next notes are sharp. Well, we start by working out if it's a line or a space, the same as we would with any other notes. So we can see it's in a space, it's the third space, F, A, C. It's got a sharp before it, which means it is C sharp. Next note, also in a space, F, A, C, E, so it has to be an E. It's got a flat sign before it, which makes it E flat. So that's going to be your next task. Can you name some of the notes? And your final task, you're going to have some coloured in notes, and your job is to colour in the right note on the keyboard. You're going to have to label the keyboard again. So let's have a look at that yellow one there. That is a B. I know that because on line, and it's the middle line, every good boy, elephants get big, every green bus, whichever saying you're using. So you're going to colour in the B. Next note is in a space, F, A, C, E. Second space, A sharp, you're going to colour in your A sharp, the same colour to match the note. Next, we're in a space again, and we've got F, A, C, E. Top one is E, it's got a flat before it's going to be E flat. Now, how did I pick that E flat? If you look at the stave, if you go up from one note to the next, then your note's going to go higher up the keyboard and higher pitch, and if it goes further down, it's going to be lower, which means our last note, E, which is in purple, is going to be lower down the keyboard. So, there's your three tasks. Label the keyboard, name the note, and then colour in the key on the keyboard. So there's quite a lot for you to be doing. It's quite tricky, but everything you need to know is in this video. So if you need to, watch this video back and it will help you with everything you need to know. Good luck and have fun learning your sharps and flats.